We're going to do several workbook pages today on dividing fractions and fractions as division. So the first one is on page 463 in volume 2 of your math notebook. Now, I'm not worried about the model. You can, if you want, take all of these and divide them into thirds. Like take this cup and divide it into thirds, this cup and divide it into thirds, and you can get your answer. But what I am concerned about is this problem right here. That's the problem that you need to work out for number 1. So 5 divided by 1/3, you should multiply 5 times 3. You start with a whole number. Your answer is a whole number. So Gemma can make 15 pancakes. Number 2 now says, suppose that Gemma uses a 1/3 cup of pancake batter to make 4 mini pancakes. Use the model to find the fraction of a cup of pancakes used for each mini pancake. You don't really have to use the model. You can if you want to. If you wanted to, you would take this model right here and you would cut it into 4 pieces because she's going to use a 1/3 of a cup. So she's going to use this 1/3 right here, but you would cut it into 4 pieces to make 4 mini pancakes. So our problem we're working out is 1/3 divided by 4. 1/3 divided by 4. 3 times 4 is 12, but since we start with a fraction, our answer is a fraction 1/12. On the next page, 464, I am not worried with the number lines, but I am worried about the equations with the answer. So what is 1/4 divided into 2 equal parts, and how many groups of 1/2 are in 4? So 3a is 1/4 divided by 2, which would be 1/8. And 3b, how many groups of a half are in 4? That would be 4 divided by 1/2. And 4 divided by 1/2 is 8. Start with a whole number, end with a whole number. Number 4, you can skip it, you can cross it off. Number 5, use any model. We're not actually going to use a model, but we're just going to divide. 5 divided by 1/2, that would be 10, because 5 times 2 is 10. You start with a whole number, you end with a whole number. So number 5 is 10. The next page we're going to do is 474. So flip all the way over to 474. Adela has a ribbon that is 2 yards long. She cuts the ribbon into pieces that are 1/4 of a yard long. How many pieces of ribbon are there in all? I'm not worried about the visual model. You can draw one if you want. But what is the thing that we're cutting? Well, we're cutting the ribbon. Since the ribbon is 2 yards long, 2 is what comes first. So we're going to do 2 divided by 1/4. You need to write the equation with the answer. So that would be 8. Number 4, on that page, you can skip. And then we're going to look at 475. Piper uses 1/6 yard of ribbon to make a border around an equilateral triangle. How long is the piece of ribbon that Piper uses for each side? So you have to know that an equilateral triangle is a triangle with 3 sides of equal length. She's not cutting the triangle, she's cutting the ribbon. So you're going to take 1/6 of a yard and divide it by 3. 1/6 divided by 3, which is 1/18. Start with a fraction, end with a fraction. The next page that we are going to do is 478. Felipe has 1/4 of a pizza. He wants to share it equally with a friend. How much of the original whole pizza will each of them get? What are we cutting? Are we cutting friends or pizza? Hopefully you're cutting pizza. So you're going to take the 1/4 and you're going to divide it by 2 since they're sharing it with a friend. Felipe and one friend are sharing the pizza. So number 6 is 1/4 divided by 2, which is 1/8. Number 7, Angela uses 1/3 of her rectangular flower garden for roses. She plants equal rectangular areas of red, white, pink, and orange roses in this part of her garden. What fraction of the whole garden has red roses? Not worried about the bottle. So we're going to take the garden she has, 1/3, and we're going to divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, since she puts 4 different colored roses in it. So number 7 is 1/3 divided by 4, which is 1/12. You start with a fraction, you end with a fraction. Number 8 says, look at problem 7. Which multiplication expression can be used to represent the situation or check the division equation? So if I wanted to check this division equation, I would do 1/12 times 4, which is letter choice C. So make sure you bubble in C. On page 479, on page 479, you can skip question 1, but let's look at question 2. Suppose Felicia had made a 1/4 gallon of punch and poured an equal amount into 8 glasses. Would the amount in each glass be more or less than 1/16 of a gallon? So we're going to take her punch, 1/4 of a gallon, and divide it into 8 glasses. So this is number 2, 1/4 divided by 8. That would be 4 times 8 is 32, 1/32. But the question says, is that more or less than 1/16? That is less than 1/16. Remember, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces are. On page 480, Donna buys a 4-pound package of cheese. There are 8 slices of cheese in each package. Each slice has the same weight. What fraction of a pound is each slice? It asks what fraction, then you should know you're going to start with the fraction to get a fraction answer. So 1/4 divided by 8 is 1/32 again. Number 4, student volunteers are getting ready to hand out programs at the talent show. Leah and Thomas are given half of a stack of programs to hand out. Leah divides her half equally among herself and 2 friends. What fraction, I'm going to start with the fraction because it asked me to give a fraction answer, of the original stack of programs do Leah and her 2 friends have? If it's Leah and her 2 friends, then we're sharing it 3 ways. So number 4 is 1/2 divided by 3, which equals 1/6. Number 5 says, if Thomas divides his stack of programs between himself and his 3 friends, what fraction of the original stack will each of his friends have? So Thomas, remember, also gets half a stack, but he's dividing it between himself and 3 friends, so that's 4 total people. So 1/2 divided by 4, which is 1/8. On page 181, Alex makes 2 pounds of bread dough. He splits the dough into 1/4 pound loaves before baking them in the oven. How many loaves does he make? So he's splitting the 2 pounds. It says it. He splits the dough. This is how much dough he has. 2 divided by 1/4. And 2 divided by 1/4 is 8. You start with a whole number, you end with a whole number. The next page we're going to do is page 484. Stacy has 4 sheets of paper to make cards. Each card requires half a sheet of paper. How many cards can Stacy make? We're going to take the 4 sheets of paper and cut them in halves. So 4 divided by 1/2 is 8. Number 10, look at problem 9, which multiplication expression can be used to represent the situation or check the division problem. So if we were going to check this, we would go backwards. 8 times 1/2. And 8 times 1/2 is letter D. Make sure you bubble it in. Number 11, Dylan makes 3 submarine sandwiches. He cuts each sandwich into 6. He's got 3 sandwiches that he's cutting, so the 3 has to go first. He cuts them into 6, stacks them on sandwich plates. How many sandwich pieces does Dylan stack on each plate? So we're going to say 3 divided into 6. Number 11 is 3 divided into 1/6, which is 18 pieces of sandwiches that he will have. Skip page 485 and go to 486. Number 4, Miss Wing will tape up posters made by her students on the wall. She cuts tape into 1/4 foot pieces. How many 1/4 foot pieces can she cut from 5 feet of tape? So what is she cutting? She's cutting her tape. How long is her tape? Her tape is 5 feet long. So we're going to take 5 feet and we're going to cut it into 4ths because that's how much she needs for each poster. So she will have 20 pieces of tape. Number 5, Taylor is helping decorate tables with flowers for graduation celebration. She has 7 bunches of tulips. She will put half of each bunch in a vase. How many vases does she need? She's taking her tulips, which is 7 bunches, and she's splitting them all in halves. So 7 divided by 1/2 equals 14. Make sure you're not just writing the answer, but you're writing the equation with the answer. Number 6, show how you can use multiplication to check that problem. So you just work backwards. 14 would come first. 14 times 1/2. Oops, 1/2. So if you work that out, 14 times 1 is 14. 1 times 2 is 2. And 14 divided by 2 is 7. So these are inverse operations. 487. Caroline picked 1/4 gallon of blueberries. She poured equal amounts of berries into 4 containers. What fraction of the gallon is in each container? We're going to take her blueberries, 1/4, and split it into 4 containers. So 1/4 divided by 4 is 1/16. She'll have 1/16 of a gallon in each container. Number 2, Cooper's USB drive is a half full with 5 video files. Each video file is the same size. What fraction of the USB drive does one video file use? We're going to start with a fraction to end with a fraction. So 1/2 divided by 5 is 1/10. Devontae is studying for his history test. He uses 1/8 of a side of 1 sheet of paper to write notes for each historical event. He fills 2 full sheets of 1 sheet of paper. Which expression could be used to find how many events Devontae makes notes for? So we're taking his paper and we're cutting it into 8ths. He had 2 full sheets, so we're going to take 2 and divide it into 8ths. And that is letter choice B. Make sure you bubble in B. Barry chose D as the correct answer. How did he get that answer? He didn't read the problem correctly and he put the wrong number first. We're not cutting 1/8 of a side of 1 sheet of paper. We're cutting the 2 full sheets of paper into 8ths. So make sure you explain to me what Barry did wrong. On page 489, Elise picks 6 pounds of apples. She uses 1/2 pound of apples to make 1 container of applesauce. How many containers of applesauce can Elise make with all the apples? So we're going to take her 6 pounds and cut it into halves. So this is number 4. 6 divided by 1/2, which is 12. And that is letter A. Number 5, students are running in a relay race. Each team runs a total of 3 miles. Each member of the team will run 1/3 mile. So we're going to take the miles that they run and divide it into thirds. So number 5 is 3 miles divided into thirds. So each member, there are going to be 9 members. So you can circle the answer. You do not need to use the number line. Tanaya has 1/3 of a cake left over from a party. She cuts the leftover cake into 6 equal pieces. She's cutting the cake. The cake was 1/3, so we're going to take 1/3 and divide it into 6. 1/3 divided into 6 pieces. So she's putting 1/18 of each piece of the cake into the freezer. The last page, page 490, Marina has a pattern to make bows that requires 1/4 yard ribbon for each bow. Fill in the table to show how many bows she can make from the given lengths of ribbon. So you're going to take the given lengths and you're going to divide them into fourths. So 1 divided into fourths is 4. 2 divided into fourths is 8. 3 divided into fourths is 12. And 4 divided into fourths is 16. Number 8, Ted serves a 6-gallon of ice cream. He puts an equal amount of ice cream in each of 4 bowls. He's going to serve the ice cream. He's not going to cut up bowls. He's going to cut up the ice cream. So 1/6 divided by 4. 1/6 divided by 4, which is 1/24. You don't have to have the model. You do have to have the equation with the answer. And you can skip part B and number 9. So that was the end of our workbook pages. If you have any questions, please email me because your test is Monday.